Welcome to Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's A-R-A-E-L.
From the future, by way of the past. I bought my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm so happy to be here today. And you are joining us today on the Andronicus transmissions, or Answers from the Universe. And we're going to have a really great day today. I am so excited about our guests for the second hour, Brian and Melinda Sundholm. And they are going to be bringing us their music. It's going to be nice and light and beautiful. We got some really amazing music that they have, and so the content of what we're going to be sharing, I think, is going to be a little bit on the heavy side. So the music is going to lighten it up a little bit towards the end. So how are you doing today, JP?
Hello. How am I doing today? I still got a little bit that stomachy kind of over bloated sort of feeling. Yeah, sort of high pressure inside. So
okay,
that's what's going on for me.
Maybe the singing will.
maybe. But I have a new effects unit for my acoustic guitar, which gives it a little kind of atmosphere and it gives it a little more oomph when playing. And for this reason, I've turned the station into stereo today, so we can hear all these things. So when people are listening to the stereo, they can hear me over here and you over there, and the guitar will be over there and stuff like that.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. So we got a lot of, if you're interested in, if you enjoy music and just eclectic sounds, this is going to be a really interesting show for you. But also, we still have a lot going on, and we still are welcoming people to come in and join us in our private Facebook group so you can be updated with things that are ongoing with the Andronicus transmissions. And people share different links and other information. We allow people to kind of express and talk, meet each other. It's sort of a meet and greet and a way for everyone to get to know, different perspectives. And as long as we do it in a way that sharing is considerate and respectful towards others, it becomes a really great venue for those that, want to find a place where they can kind of express themselves. So, and also, share different links and whatever else. And also a reminder that, this week we have the Interstellar Galactic Council that will be meeting on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will also have next Monday night, Monday after the show, for the Andronicus transmissions, will be our Zoom room gathering. So if you're interested in meeting new people, we would love to have you and come and join us and interact, and we want to give each person a place to, introduce themselves, say hello. And, these are people that have been following or have listened to the show and have an understanding. So there may be questions and different things that come up, but it's a very open-minded and safe place to join and gather. And I think that's it for the news today. Of course, if you wanted to reach me at any time, you can reach me at readingsbyarael.com. That's ARAEL.com. And I'm always available And so is JP's always around to assist with his Ray ratings. And you can reach him at JP?
www.everbeyondradio.com. Except I do readings on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays now. So otherwise, because I haven't got time on the rest of the days.
All right. And also remembering that we have all of our shows that are available on YouTube and the Andronicus Transmissions webpage. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we needed to add. Oh, also remember to give and donate. And you can do that to Wolf Spirit Radio, always keeping the station going. Let's keep this going alive and on air for everyone to hear, and to be able to receive information that you're not going to get elsewhere. So let's always remember to support what we're doing and keep the station going. And if you feel that you want to reach me for anything, here again you have my address. So anyhow, I think we can get started, and let's see where we go, JP. Maybe anything else that you wanted to add?
I'm on 2 new boxes today. I'm on new box for the guitar, and I'm just discussing in the chat room. I've got a new router, the internet connection, just because my old one was like years old, and so I got a new one to see if it's any better. We'll see. To be honest, I think all my internet problems are nothing to do with my system. It's all to do with BT, but that's like blaming BT, British Telecom, the main provider of telecoms in the UK. And really, I could blame them, because the cable that comes to my house is literally buried under 6 inches of soil. It's like there's
shallow.
There's no pipe.
Wow.
It should be about a meter down at least. A year ago, or maybe a couple of years ago, a lorry came to do a delivery, and it put its foot, these lorries have their feet things, and it put its hydraulic foot down, and it went right through the cable, and nobody had any internet for a couple of days. There we go.
That's a challenge. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense that they don't bury the wires.
Yeah, so anyway, that just so that everybody knows, that's what my internet situation is. I'm on a cable right in the middle of the country, and it's long cable. So there's always losses, and there's always problems. And when it rains, and when it winds, and everything falls over. But I'm doing my best to get the most solid connection possible. I am looking at satellite, and if anybody in Britain has done satellite and has satellite experience, please get in touch with me, because I am so newbie about the whole satellite business.
I think that's a great idea. That's actually what crossed my mind, would be your solution, is just to go to satellite, and I think you'll be able to do that. Mm. So, calling all people.
It'll certainly help to get me, these massive uploads that I have to do, uploading videos and things like that is useless at 300k. It took, 600, a 600 megabyte, file for the webinar. It took like 8 to 10 hours to upload. It's just a bit slow. So anyway, just so everybody knows, what my situation is, I can't change it. I'm doing my best, but, it's like one of these, you can't change the government that easily, can you? It's all like that.
Well, you could try to change the government.
You could, yeah.
So, Brian Sundholm and his wife Melinda? Yeah. So you've known them for a while, haven't you?
Well, Brian's been sending me, pictures and music and jokes and stuff. So, so it'd be good to talk to him.
Okay. So we're going to go first to, Rhodan.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange disconnections just keep happening. There's something in my microphone that, that keeps going out, and I have to. That's why you hear this sound every so often. Is I'm tapping the mic so that it comes back online. Anyway, meanwhile,
Oh, is that a new Rhodan?
The Hall of Doom.
No.
Okay. It was a night of contemplation and levity until the energy shifted while watching a video song of a deep, heartfelt sorrow and death. The land was open on the quiet island of Iceland. The landscape drew me as memories of reflection of my lifetime with him, Rhodan. In my recollection, here he was, a king among kingdoms. He sat eagerly with his second wife, as I journeyed out on my horse to the open seas. As I rode the horse, the bitterness of Rhodan's second wife began to seethe like an open sore. She wished to be rid of me, along with the many other children of Rhodan's who were not hers. Even more so, to share her new husband with a daughter was not something she was willing to undergo. I found myself lost, pulled from my own, and drifting, asking the earth to assist me with my sorrows. As I drew close to the edge of the waters, the black rocks began to rise up from the earth as sharp, black, jagged glass. I turned behind me and the rocks blocked me from my path of return. And then I stopped, and in amazement, jumped to what appeared to be clear ground when I became severely cut and wounded by the rock on my right leg. I bled heavily as if I had cut an artery. A song sang in my head of netherworlds, of Netherland. I walked swiftly to the salt water to heal me, but the blood continued to flow. This was not an ordinary wound, but a wound from the black heart of black magic. My father's wife, her heart had no light, and severed me deeply through her magic, so I would not make it through. Then the thoughts of betrayal became strong as I lay by the edge of the water and the blood drained from my body. There I died. Freya, the daughter of Odin. Odin is another name for Rhodan. Rhodan, the sons of the Danubians in the Caucasus, the father of many people and many civilizations. I was one of many who loved him dearly. Returning back to the present time, here I am seated, the tears streaming down my face. Behold, he came to speak with me.
This was the beginning of troubles for us. We had many troubles after your death. Divisions began to creep in and my wife's beauty rapidly began to fade. I saw what she did and returned you back to our people to mend. I now need your help. It is now my time to die, and you must observe this as well. When I am killed, do not revive me. It is meant to be. It is time for me to change, to return back and be young again.
I don't know if I can watch this.
You must promise me you will not revive me. It is more important that I am left to die.
If this is your wish, then I will honor it. And then the scene rapidly changed and I stood next to two men in an arid land resembling the Middle East. To my left stood Rhodan, and I quickly stood beside him. To my right was Hades. Within a flash of time, Hades drew out his thick knife and drove it fiercely into Rhodan. It had appeared as if Rhodan did little to prevent it from happening. In my shock, I drew a knife and slew Hades. Then I was pulled out from this daydream It was a dream, in my knowing. I was transported to this time to see the event, and upon the death of Hades the memories flooded in of his cruelty to me and others amongst his peers, in all of humanity. I began to see him influenced many to cause harm. He brought forth the beings of the underworld often to the upper world to create chaos, wars, plagues, and heartache. The bitterness of life reflected all that he felt. Not that he was ever cast off, but sent below to serve his own devices, away from the innocent. This did not satisfy his insatiable appetite to destroy the upper world, or should I say subdue and overthrow the strata of humanity. I found him in many portals. I saw Rhodan press down and collapse the inner chambers of his underworld portal system. After thousands and thousands of years, it truly began not long ago, when Rhodan appeared as Apollo, another of his expressions, and hit Hades very hard to release the stronghold he had on Mercury. Mercury was one of his messengers, and yet he had bound him. Hades had bound him to his rules and guidelines as a messenger. We also discovered he had entered the water gate where he had tied up Triton, or the one you may know as Poseidon, and then he began to rage and shout and cause anger, to flood the waters with hatred. He then went on to trick me, posing as Triton. He drew me in and took from me. I innocently went to help Poseidon, and I was wounded again. He is the artificer of magic, the worker of darkness. He only took and never gave to anyone without a glitch, without putting them into a chain. He sold his magic for the price of a soul. I paused to search for Rhodan, but could not find him. Tears rolled down my face. Days later, a storm rolled in. When I was drawn by the dog who wanted to go outside, I stepped outside on the porch in the back, and I noticed that the sky began to light up in the most beautiful way, but without sound. Just flashes of lightning and a dance. I came in to rest after observing that. Still, the weather had an odd sense of an impending storm, but I couldn't hear it, could only see it. So I lay down and closed my eyes, and in one moment I felt a flash of light come in from the window from behind me, and then swooped around and moved through the room, turned and swiped and touched my face, and I sat up and realized it was Rhodan, let me know that he was revived and well again. I rested peacefully that evening. Rhodan, I'm so happy to see you are back.
I'm back and better than ever, renewed, restored and rejuvenated like a young man. It's time to continue to close all portals of Hades. He's nearing his end of time as well. And although it may appear you did away with him, he has many aspects of himself in all time, space and realities. It will require that you pursue him in all corners and cavernous locations. In the end, he should return to his former self. A lot less angry and as a child remedied by love, just as Mars was.
I don't think he would receive me as his mother the way Mars did, and after I had subdued him, during the time he attacked you, and numerous times afterwards.
But you can, and you will. You were bound to him because he harmed him, or you harmed him?
You harmed him.
Because you were bound to him because you harmed him. There is now no other way, but I'm sure you can be in a place of forgiveness and teach him kindness as well before the others taint his soul with much hatred and vengeance.
It reminds me of the time I saw Meetis. He had angered me a lot by his mischief, and when he revealed to me how he was as a child, my heart melted and I embraced him and comforted him. And he wept and pleaded with me to return home. His wounded soul just cried out for love. He is so much better now.
We'll all be better soon. We will no longer embrace the contrary species. They will make their own destiny without us. They must change in order to thrive in the future. We will no longer offer interventions to their civilizations. Our cycle of grace is now past, and accountability for decisions made will rise up before the many councils. Once again, there is remedy to those who choose a higher path.
So, what would you have me do now?
Just be as you are. You will learn how to help others in your own way, and the original way of how we are, in a place of love and compassion. But I also want you to remain alert and guarded against the outbursts of those spiraling out of their element because their unwillingness to refrain from their dark deeds.
I hear you and understand fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, there was this one, it was one of these one tears came out of my right eye and slowly rolled down my cheek as you were writing about the rocks and Rhodan dying and all that stuff. Beautiful.
Yeah, that actually happened over the past couple of weeks, and I had a very hard time the past couple of weeks. I had a lot of moments where I just couldn't function, and I just was very distraught. But I knew that there was a solution for it, but typically the others would go through the wall of fire. He didn't go through the wall of fire, he took another path, and the fact that I had to witness it was so upsetting, and then my reaction, which happened the way I think anyone would react in an emotion of seeing someone that they love very much get harmed. And when I saw that lightning and that really happened, I just remember watching it, and it was just flickering. It was like a span of lights coming through clouds. But, you couldn't hear anything. It wasn't. And finally, I went to go to lay down. I mean, the lightning actually came through the room and wrapped in front of me and came around and hit me on the face. So my eyes were slightly open, and I was like, what was that? I jumped up and I realized, what had happened. It was him. I thought it was odd, the movement of the lightning coming in the room.
So is it's actually like a physical lightning?
It was the light of the lightning, so I didn't get a jolt from it. Oh. It was almost like it reached in like a hand and just touched me. But it was like right on my face.
If that was anybody, that would be Rhodan, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the thunder.
I knew it was him.
So, again, it reminded me a bit of Doctor Who. That these beings, like Doctor Who, he regenerates and comes into a completely new body, new face, everything, new personality. Obviously, Rhodan is probably not like that, because it's like it was just to accommodate, having a new actor play the part. But so when Rhodan comes, does he look like himself?
That's an interesting question, because I've talked to him, but I have not seen him, and I don't know how he transforms. And I've seen Meetis and how he changes, but I've not seen Rhodan. He hasn't revealed that part to me yet. He's no longer old, I think this was the first time he did this. So maybe, he hid from, that wound that he had in his eye, where he had one eye missing. The music that I have that was shared with me, actually, it was music from Martin Sagagna. I think I said his last name correctly.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Otherwise, I'll probably hear from him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think Rhodan had him send me that music. So because there was some other music there. I think there was one of the videos where he has one of the eyes are missing. I think if I can recall when I listened a couple of weeks ago, it was very dramatic to me. It kind of led in and opened up and looking at the landscape of Iceland, which I believe is where it all happened. And that's why there's such an amazing energy about that location. And I was wondering maybe we can go to that track and if we have permission to put that track in the video, to put it in the chat room. And we can play that music right now before we go on to Andronicus and Meetis.
Which one is that?
The music that I sent to you. Let's see. And it is. Do you see it? It's a pronunciation is something that I don't.
It's about.
I don't have it.
Yeah, because you're talking about Brian's music.
Yeah, Brian's music.
But Martin?
Oh, I must have not sent it to the right.
You didn't send it to me, huh? Not yet.
I think I sent it to Ches instead.
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on.
So, there you go. My other...
Yeah, well, I'll get that in a second.
Okay.
And...
yes, indeed. So yeah, quite an emotional kind of, communication today.
Yeah.
You know, then there's the other thing. Yeah, wicked stepmother kind of thing.
Yeah, and we were talking about that because, some of us have been in situations where being hold on. Get that music. I know you can almost hear it. It's very, very I'm trying to get it stopped. Won't stop.
Very dramatic sounding.
It's very dramatic sounding, and of course my computer is not listening to me right now.
Oh, they never
Stop. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to get that link for you. Is but
Hang on a second.
Go. There it is.
Oh, already got it. There we go. Oh, nice. So you want me to play this right now?
Yes, we'll play that right now, and then. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so.
That was pretty heavy, isn't it?
Oh, the scene. Oh, I'm still in tears.
I know.
You see this woman schlepping what appears to be a large coffin. And she drags this coffin along the beach and into the mountains, right up in the mountains. And there she meets the ghost of, obviously, the person who was in the coffin. Or was it she that was in the coffin? I don't know.
I think it was the ghost or the man that appears. It's very large.
Yeah.
And it felt very much like it was in Rhodan.
Rhodan, yeah.
Yeah. And that triggered the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm still quite...
I think I'm getting an echo. Oh, I was getting an echo.
Yeah. Is that anybody? Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. How's that?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, it was very, very touching to me.
Very emotional. Tears are still streaming down my face. It's like...
I think I cried a lot already over it. It's just, it was so emotional to me, and then having that whole vision and just kind of going to that space with Rhodan afterwards, it just triggered it almost like a clock set off and brought in this whole other experience. Something very mystical and magical about Iceland. And I know that a lot happened there. And it's funny because they said something about Norway too, which I didn't fully understand. Maybe there's a connection, because I think I think early on they lived in all of that, in that part of the world in various locations, whether it was Sweden or,
up this way,
yeah.
up this way. Like I say, I'm still not kind of back to me. Quite a, oh God, what's my expensive microphone? You're supposed to be expensive, therefore reliable. Work. Anyway,
I think it's just the frequencies and the energy that's coming in. It's just waves.
I think there was a big wave that hit Earth over the weekend because a lot of people lost internet in a bizarre way. And, I had my usual issues, but the webinar with Alex Colley was like the hardest one to do. Everything seemed to fail. And I ended up on the telephone with him, just calling him on the phone and finishing it like that.
Yeah.
So, there's been a lot of, very, strange, energies that have been influencing everybody. So, yeah, presumably, also emotional.
Mm-hmm.
On the emotional level.
And people are trying to hold on to the information and trying to make sure, and when that information gets cut off, they're frustrated, and so it's really important that you keep things going as much as you can. But I mean, you really do everything possible to make it happen.
Yes, indeed. So, where shall we go now?
We're going to go to Andronicus. Now, this is another bizarre run. Very, very strange.
Okay.
I see you in the woods, Andronicus. What are you doing here? You're in Europe?
Yes, I was here to see Meetis, but he was captured and I needed to free him.
Who had captured him?
King. Blasted king. Does he know who we are?
Which king is that, Andronicus?
He calls himself Richard, who has the heart of a lion.
Oh, Richard the Lionheart. He imprisoned Meetis?
Yes, and he's trying to get his mind to he's trying to get into his mind to proclaim his origin. Yes, and he is trying to get into his mind to proclaim his origins and the secrets and mysterious of time travel. I shall not allow him to enter our vessel of knowledge.
You speak differently than I remember you.
Oh, I'm not quite sure who you are. What is your status? Aren't you an elven working for our cause to protect and hold true the many kingdoms of light and realities?
Yes, I have the energy of an elven as well. I thought you knew me as Sumer.
Sumer? What a ridiculous name. Come now, return you to yourself. Have you got a bit of madness around you? Your name is not Sumer. Your name is Aristoire de Cloison.
I don't recall that name. Are you sure you have not confused me with someone else?
No, definitely. We embarked on the most dreamy affair beyond a moonlit night, with our chalice between us sipping the most fragrant of wines. The Burgundy countryside was intoxicating, and you whispered in my ear sweet amorous words. You wore a dress of saffron yellow with pink flowers and flesh-tone lace. I can still hear the birds chirp upon our awakening. The children down the valley awakening by the sound of the cock and horse hooves pounding to set up for a running gait to release from their slumber. This is not our time, fair one. It is yet another day but we must protect and serve. Will you assist me? I shall hide you away, pull you into our time, and portray you as a humble countrywoman with flowing auburn hair. Shall we dance, my love? We shall confuse and be onward to assist the work of the sun. Now, we must free Meetis now. Come now, assist me. Shall we go yonder towards the castle gates and enter in to release our brethren?
Yes, draw me in. I am more than happy to help.
Richard will be so surprised.
And on another note, I observed and was told that Richard the Lionheart incarnated again as Mohawk Native American Richard Oakes, an activist of Native American rights.
Once a Richard, always a Richard, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a good thing, because I had a sneaking suspicion that it would turn out that I would be Richard the Lionheart, because, I have this Lionheart little, fragment, but there's probably plenty of Lionhearts. So, that was quite interesting. So he didn't recognize you?
No, he called me Aristois de Classon.
Mm.
And he said we're in Burgundy before. Mm. I think it's predates when he kind of looped in time, and this predates when I met him as Andronicus. Mm. Which is odd.
Who was he here?
He's a time traveler, looks like.
All right.
Said he knew me as an Elven. I thought it was weird.
Yes. So I'm just correcting the thing. Wow. Okay. So, so he didn't recognize you. He didn't recognize you. Nice dress.
Yeah. He recognized the dress. Mm. I could see us laying on the countryside, and it wasn't like we were in a house. And down, in the lower part of the valley where all the houses were. And it sort of reminded me when Rhodan went to that village, and he was up on this hill and he was looking down at the village. Mm. But I don't know if it was the same place, but it was the same idea. And then there seemed like there were vineyards around.
Mm-hmm. Any idea of what, could you tell me about the shoes? What sort of time period are we talking?
Well, in the Burgundy point or the, okay, let me take a look. It had, I won't say there was satin, but there was some kind of material on top, and then there was a hard leather shoe underneath, like a sole. The sole was kind of thick and hard.
All right, so they developed platform shoe technology. So
I don't know if it was platform shoes, but definitely and then they had like a softer material that was wrapped, and then it went up my ankle. It kind of reminds me of a ballet shoe. I don't know.
Very pretty dress anyway. So, shall we move forwards?
Yeah, we're going to go to Meetis. So the story continues on now. Okay. I enter the gate of time and am joined by Andronicus to rescue Meetis. I see myself enter deeply in time and see I'm wearing brown leather boots wrapped carefully up to my knees. My dress is long but made of layers of cloth, and I'm wearing a woolen jacket that resembled a felt and wool texture that was wrapped around me in brownish rustic tones. My skirt was gray and my skin was fair but a little ruddy. My hair is auburn and flowing down my back. I'm joined by Andronicus, who encourages me to jump into a traveling wagon filled with hay. This is how we ride into town. At daybreak, we hide as the rider goes into a slumber by the side of the road. Then we walk a few miles to see another farmer lifting bundles onto his cart. Andronicus helps him, as do I, and we travel off with him. He brings us into town. We help him offload his goods, which consist of burlap sack bags full of grains and hops. The farmer gives us some coins, and we get a bite to eat. We put fresh vegetables and fruits in our bags, and then he has us give some of it away to beggars and children as we travel into the gates.
We must travel. Andronicus. Sorry, I just got to get in character. All right. We must travel light and not be seen. Here, wear this cloak and cover your face. I will do the same. I traded it with our coins. I have a piece of metal that can be molded into a key.
But it is light out. They will see us.
Ah, tell them that we're here to collect the dead. They are too preoccupied by everything and wouldn't expect anyone would have the boldness to enter in when all are awake. They take extra care in the dark hours of night when many meddlesome thieves attempt to steal. Here. It will help you leverage the This will help you leverage the casket without tearing your skin. I have given you a very strong cloth to wrap around your hands and wrists. Then when we go to take it, you will have leverage with the cloth to not draw too much attention. Many will be distracted.
We entered in, and Meetis immediately collapsed with a great drama upon seeing us. He made it appear he was bleeding from his mouth from a red fruit that Andronicus tossed him. We talked a bit and then went in to carry him into a put him in a casket and then carry him out. Andronicus paid another traveler a few coins to bring us to the local village, where Meetis was then removed from the casket and sent into the timelines. Andronicus convinced me to stay to help the people from oppression and bring them food and assistance.
I shall always remember the both of you, my friends. I've never been so forlorn at any time.
Within a flash, Meetis returned as a perfect copy of Andronicus. He resembled him so much that I found it hard to tell the difference.
Hello, my lovely. How fare thee? We are just about to change the world now. Would you like to watch?
I would like to participate.
And so you shall. Come hither. A song for the day. I am so pleased that things turned out this way. So, is it switched on? Okay, so this is I just have to set this thing up. Yeah, program 1, I think program 5 was what I wanted. Check this. That's something. You can't see it, but every time I'm playing this, the guitar is slipping out from under my leg.
Oh no.
Now right. Hang on a second. my usual cry of hang on a second while all the bits of wire and all the cables get untangled. I can't even hear you, so
Well, you know, while you're getting that ready, I just got some information.
Okay, news just in. Go on.
News in that Richard the Lionheart was imprisoned in Austria, and that they tried to capture him in several parts of the country when passing through, and eventually got caught. They caught him in Vienna and imprisoned him in a small town called Dürnstein for about a year. I don't know, I didn't know that.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of imprisonment going on right now. It's not good.
Yeah. Well, he imprisoned Meetis first.
Yeah, that's right. Don't start. Right, okay, I think I've got all my bits. used to chase us and follow us through, and did great harm until we knew. We shut the doors, we held him still. We broke his device that allowed his will to steal our mysteries and magic stored from almond cellars and cabinet doors. I say I won't have it, the king of all trickery. I will lock you in my cabin and not give you the victory. And so it is said he is stuck on all fours. One winter, one summer, one fall, and one spring. I won't let him pass through the center of the ring. He's now held fast in the future of our door, but cannot enjoy any of the rewards. I held him fast in the past where he lay. He was stuck in a bar full of rabbits and hay. I held him in parallel, both east and west. He will taste of the goodness but have none of the best. La la la. I have completed my work here. I've discovered the empty chambers where the intruders once drew. Farewell, my lovely. We never have to worry about this happening again. It was Hades who betrayed us, and it is Hades who put it all to an end. La, 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 la. So there you go.
Wow.
And I need to disentangle myself from all these guitars. So yeah, there's the new guitar sound box, which sounds nice. It's got like a reverb and a compressor and all these lovely things that you need for an acoustic guitar. Just
Yeah,
to
I was picking up the
professional.
reverb.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah. So there we go.
A much longer song than usual.
Yeah, it's kind of narrative, and sometimes I could sing it, and sometimes I had to speak it.
Yeah.
I'll have to introduce you to Tree Paul one day. Very interesting character.
Really?
Yeah, he lives around here. Well, he lives in the forests of northern Scotland, and he plants trees and grows them and sells them. He's in for the long game.
Well, it looks like you have some applause going on from True Magic.
All right.
And the chat room. K-Girl said, good one, JP. And Paul said, la la la, la la la.
Everybody's singing along. That's it.
I am words of the ring pass not. So,
Did you just say ring pass not?
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
I am word said that. The ring pass not.
Who said that?
I am word.
I am word. All right.
Can you see it?
Oh.
It's right from Paul's la la la.
All right. I see. Do you know what the ring pass not is?
No.
All right. It's I suppose it's like the word that I can't get out of my head is sphincter, right? But it's on a much larger scale. It's the thing that stops energies leaving a system.
Okay. I don't know. That just brings a whole other visual.
I know. But the idea of what,
Strong.
well, it does. It's like a vortex point that can close up, sort of thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So yes, it's a esoteric time. It's, yeah. Anyway, meanwhile.
Do you want
to put a tune on?
Yes, I think we should put why don't we put that beautiful song of Melinda, from Melinda Sundholm.
Right, okay.
That's the first one that was listed, I think, in the grouping.
Right, I've got the star hexahedron. The thing is that because I'm playing it on this computer, I can't, you can't talk in the background. Okay?
Okay, got it.
But there you go.
The big return, scientific demons, building the big return, scientific demons, scientific demons, scientific demons, scientific demons, scientific demons. Wish upon a star, falling star, star hexahedron, star hexahedron, star, falling star, star hexahedron, star hexahedron, star hexahedron, star hexahedron.
Okay, give me a second. I need to then bring you back in there. Jess.
Yes, here we are.
So. Oh yes, what a technical challenge this whole thing is. So you want to get, do you want me to call them then?
Yeah, if you can call them, maybe that will work, and we'll bring them in. Did you want to play another song while we're waiting?
It makes it difficult.
Okay.
To do that.
Can't
So,
do that. Okay.
Let's just add to call, paste in. Okay, computer.
Just as I said, as a reminder that we have our Zoom call next week. So next Monday night. I hope you can join us. And also, if anyone's interested in joining the Facebook group, a private Facebook group, just let us know or put something in the chat if you're interested. And, we can direct you there, but just come in and join. All right. I think we've got a call come through. Hello?
Don't think they're there yet.
I don't think they're there yet either. Oh,
Destination is temporarily blocked. Oh.
Well,
let's try another. All right, I'll try the other number.
Hello, Brian and Melinda, if you're out there, call in.
Hey, are they
call in that number I left in.
Are they in America?
Yes, they are.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
And maybe they're having some technical.
No, me.
Okay.
It's got the +44 instead of +1.
Okay.
Let me just remove this space and there. Okay. Right, let's see if that works. Nope, hang on.
Okay.
Won't be a minute.
All right. Here it is, the number. It's in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
The 702.
No, didn't like that one. Sorry about this. This is the numbers. All right, I'm gonna have to actually type it in.
That doesn't look like the correct number anyhow. Do you see the number in the chat room?
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Add. Keep talking, Jess.
Okay. So,
yeah, so tell them about Brian.
This...
Tell them about what Brian sent you and all this marvelous stuff.
Yeah. Well, it started off that I was, in my Facebook group and I had this really wacky picture that I brought in with, like I had these really large sunglasses, and then Brian said put his song in there called Eyeball. And so I played the music and I was like, this is pretty cool. And, here we have it. I think we played a couple of his songs.
Got it.
Yay!
Yay, we
Welcome.
are.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if I gave you the wrong number or if we just got messed with.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No. Sorry.
Oh, wow. Where do we start? Yeah.
Welcome to Facebook. Welcome to Wall Spirit Radio. Can you turn off your radio in the background? I think it's...
yeah, it's off. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, Brian.
No, thank you. Hey, it's great to be on, man. Thanks so much for doing this, Jessica and JP. You guys are awesome, man. I've been following you for a while, since Alex Collier, and you started posting the things with Alex, and then that led to all kinds of good stuff. We started following Connecting Consciousness and some of the other ones.
Yeah, it's all Alex Collier's fault.
So
let
me
tell
put
us
you on
about you.
speakerphone so I can hear.
Brian, why don't you tell us about you? Why don't you tell us about you and your work?
Okay. I've been playing music all my life. My dad was famous and played music, and then my great-grandfather made violins, past history or whatever. And mostly I like to make music. I don't really like to try and make it a career, so that's why I just put it out there for free, and people want to use it. That's mostly what I'm interested in, is, do something that's fun and share it, So it's like, when somebody takes notice of it and says, hey, I really like your music, that's like the highlight of my life, like what you did, that really made me happy.
Sober hippie.
Sober hippie, there you go.
We need to bring Melinda in a little closer so we can hear her voice when she talks.
Okay,
and so you have some links that people can go to hear your free music, and you're going to want to write these things down. We have www.soundcloud.com/Brian-Sundholm, which is SUNDHOLM. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. If they just do a Google search in the name, they'll find all that stuff too. They'll find my Facebook and everything else.
We also have www.reverbnation.com /Brian Sundholm. So I'm going to put those in the chat. And so go on, so when did you start doing this music?
Well, that particular song we wrote about 4 or 5 years ago. And the irony is, ever since we put that out there, all of a sudden we had computer problems. So I don't know for sure if that's a reality or not, but it sure seemed like it. I had some of the weirdest computer issues and stuff after that. So
Stuxnet.
yeah, all that stuff. So, but we used to be in Ventura. We had a studio there in Ventura, and about 2 years ago we came out here to Vegas, and we've been out here ever since then. And we just had the house fire and stuff, so we're kind of reorganizing because all our computers and stuff got trashed, which I'm kind of happy about. Find a new way to record and not use the computers as much.
Yeah, you should have played Burning Down the House by Talking Heads.
Well, it sounds like a tragic thing, but you guys have turned it around and are not allowing it to affect you. But, meanwhile, you're out there sharing with people and helping and offering free music, which is, not very common.
Well, virtual-wise, if anybody needs it for, bumpers or for their videos or anything like that, that's royalty-free. They can use it. I have no problem with that. The only exception is if I had a collaboration. There's like one tune on there that I did with a friend named John G, who's really cool about sharing stuff too. But that's the only one that I wouldn't say go ahead and use it for whatever, because I'd have to ask them first off. But anything else that's posted on either of those sites, people are welcome to use it for free for whatever they need. So, and it's just it's nice to share it and have it appreciated.
So now your music seems, it's not the average type of music. It's very blended and mixed, and it has a futuristic feel to it, and very, very eclectic. How would you define it, and what was your inspiration?
Well, I guess it just depends on whatever's going on at the time, and sometimes you get an idea from somebody else's music, and you want to do something kind of like that, and so I'll listen to it, and a lot of different influences. I mean, everything from Dead Can Dance to Alan Holdsworth and Mockingbird. It's
got to be Alan Holdsworthy.
So it's kind of like I'll get an idea for something that I want to sound like or something I want to do, and then sit down and just start recording. I usually don't write things out ahead of time or try and plan it out. I like to just kind of let it go as it is, and then see what comes up, and how it comes out. And usually, most everything that we've done has been like recorded and put it out there within a day or so. I mean, it's usually a one-day process, and probably why it doesn't sound much like an organized song. If I sat down and tried to do verse, chorus, and bridge and all that kind of stuff, that's more of a I'd just say a process of structure. And I usually don't follow the structures.
Oh, no, you're talking to a man who's never listened to a Rolling Stones record, but is a Justin Bieber fan.
Well, it looks like he's
album. It's awesome.
It looks like you're also a big fan of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, because that was the first thing you sent me on the email, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, by the way. Just saying,
cool.
Besides Dude, Where's My Car? Is another one.
Yeah, I totally love the
movies.
Right on. Yeah, that one stuck with me pretty good. And then about a year ago, I found out a good friend of mine from high school. He was like, one of the two guitar players in high school, Dirk Sullivan. He actually played on the Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventure.
Adventure, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a song on there that it ended up on that movie. And I was like, all right.
Was it the Anti-Bogus Invention?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that movie too. He had like the Grim Reaper on there.
Yeah, duh. Give him a Melvin. Oh, man.
That was a great movie. Well, I think the first movie was the better one, but, just
totally.
Funny. Very, very classic.
Yeah, it just came on because we're staying here at the hotel or whatever since the house, and it came on the HBO or whatever, and I was like, I gotta watch that. So we're sitting here at like 2 a.m. or something. Melinda's,
He woke me up.
And I'm watching Bill and Ted. She's like, why are you watching this? I love this movie. So.
I watched it too, and then George Carlin comes on and says all the stuff that I'm saying now. Like, you're going to have world peace now because of your music. And I'm just like, man, that guy sounds like me now. And when I saw it, I was like, that's just nuts.
Yeah, pretty cool movie.
Well, I'm looking at some of your credits. Let's see, your music is, you talked about your, dad, tube amplifiers, the sounds of bands from the 60s, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Beach Boys, Mountain, Woodstock's Maine. This is all your dad's stuff? He played in the band called the Kingsmen with the Rolling Stones?
Well, he played in a band called the Kingsmen. They had the hit Louie Louie. And, that like, was like, it was kind of a controversial thing, but that kind of spurred it on to more popularity.
I forget how long the FBI had it analyzing the lyrics. Yeah. It was off for like 2 years or something.
Louie. That's what reminds me of Animal House, another good movie.
Totally. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, the school my son went to, by the way. With Mass Amherst. There we go.
Hey, Louie.
Which one is your dad?
He's a bass player.
Cool. Meanwhile, back in the conversation.
I know, and then they analyzed that lyrics.
There's a couple ironies on that one, but yeah. There actually is a cuss word in there.
Yeah, that was really...
Yeah, the funny thing is they analyzed it for a long time. There actually is a cuss word in there. It's not like the made-up lyrics that everybody thinks it was, but the keyboard player, I guess, messed up in the background and says the F word, and I forget exactly where it's at, but it's about a third of the way or halfway into the song. You can hear it way in the background. And, that song has so many weird stories behind it. It just makes it infamous, I think, at some point. But, he was a bass player, and he developed an amplifier because that was right about 63, 4 when they were going from like playing small schools and sock hops and grocery stores to, starting to play bigger and bigger arenas and stuff. And he couldn't project, enough sound with his bass guitar. So him and his brother got together and they built a amplifier and, a bigger amplifier. And then people were asking him, hey, where'd you get that amp? That thing sounds great. So he started making amplifiers while he was out traveling on the road. And him and his brother started a company with this Sun amplifiers. And it became like a huge thing in the 60s. I mean, it was like, kind of a precedent setter, if you will, as far as the sound goes. And then Marshall came along, and then they kind of took over from there. And it was that. It was kind of like Jimi Hendrix wanted a preamp amp that would distort. So he wanted something on the front of the amp that would actually overdrive the amp. And I guess some of the engineering guys at Sun were like, well, that's ridiculous. We don't want our amps to distort. We're doing everything not to do that. So then Marshall came along and said, yeah, we'll do whatever we want. No problem. And then it kind of took a different direction. So.
Yeah,
and we still use those sounds to this very day. We still use the Marshall with its EQ and its gain controls to get that sweet. You can choose the sort of distortion you can get with a Marshall amp. It's brilliant. I've got a tiny little Marshall amp, but it's got the EQs in it, and it sounds fantastic. And I can fill a whole auditorium with it.
Oh, I bugged the heck out of my dad when I was a teenager. I want to sound like AC/DC. We ended up building our own speaker cabinet and trying different things. It was pretty tough for me to get my amp to sound right. And then, it wasn't until a few years ago I had my amp reworked by my uncle, and we got together, and I actually got probably the best sound I've ever had out of my Sun amp, and I'm real happy with it now. So probably the first time. It was about a few years ago, I'm able to get both the Marshall sound and, the older Sun sound. So I'm stoked.
Yeah, so the battles of Sun and Mars.
I think some of the most brilliant stuff has come out of experimental music. I did experimental film when I was in college. And some of that stuff was just absolutely amazing. And so if you're going to create any type of visual that was experimental, you also had to do some experimental sounds. in music collections, and it just totally resonates with me because it's outside of the rules, outside of the box, and I think that's what we have to do. You know, for me, this is how I feel and how I connect to things, and I don't like to see everything, you know, coloring within the lines. I like to go outside of the lines sometimes and kind of explore, and that's how we learn things. I think we can't be too confined in our thinking. And so, that's
one of the main
the
reasons I chose not to do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, one of the main reasons I chose not to go, you know, try to be commercial and stuff is because I wanted to stay true to what it is I like and what I wanted to do, and you know, it just makes more sense. In fact, what you're talking about with film and coloring and all that, it's one of the main things that really hit home with me from Alex Collier was when he was saying that, you know, sound, light, and color, and that's how they use what, you know, what they're using to reprogram DNA and stuff. And I've been researching that ever since, and trying to understand what, you know, like JP and I talked about 432 and pyramids and stuff like that. I find it utterly fascinating. I would love to be able to use my intention and heart and sounds to be able to kind of reach out and shift people emotionally to, you know, to be beneficial, you know. And it's something weird happens when you start thinking of it like that, though, because it's almost like you get caught between, you know, well, what am I really doing here? Am I, you know, actually doing something good for somebody, or am I just doing this for myself? So, you know, I still have a big question out there as far as how do you use sound, light, and color to be beneficial. I think probably the easiest way is just, you know, follow your heart and do what you like to do.
I agree. I was just looking at, you have been writing and working to get a soundtrack for the yet non-existing movie. You said The Adventures of Captain Dinar. Those Alex Collier fans will want to hear about this.
Oh, okay. Well, a few years back when we heard about the movie and that it was going to be out there, you know, we actually got to call and talk to, you know, Alex Sinatra, Dragonfly Productions. Alex talked to us for a little while about it, and
then I came out with a Star Hexahedron song and screwed it all up.
No, not at all.
Oh, and by the way, JP, I love the beginning bumper that you put. You put some of your music for the advertisement of it, and I was like, all right, cool, somebody's doing something with it.
Yeah, well, actually, you know what happened? In 2012, Alex commissioned Rebecca Jernigan to do a series of private interviews that would act as a publicity. They were like half-hour interviews that have never been released. And when we were setting up for it, you know, just doing like little sound checks, Alex sang a little song. And he said, the sun is running in the sky. Anyway, he sang this little song. And I thought, so I took that little clip and I learned what he played on the guitar, you know, the notes that he did. And that's the song is called Cowboy Dreams. It's an old cowboy song. And,
awesome.
it's basically, I wanted something that was a bit like, Hitchhiker's Guide, a bit like, Star Trek, a bit like, Red Dwarf, you know, all the different little science fiction things. And so that's what comes out. So everything that all the music for Alex Collier is basically based on that one tune. It's only got one tune.
Wow.
So it'd be great to collaborate and, you know, do you do proper film music?
Yeah. Sure.
Just in case we ever need to do a TV series or a film series of Captain Dinar.
Or the Andronicus transmission.
Well, the Andronicus transmissions as well. That's another thing.
I am totally game for any of that kind of stuff. That would be awesome.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I have a spin it piano that's waiting for the
playing.
For the Cowboy Dreams. For the champagne, caviar, and the Cowboy Dreams.
Oh, okay.
By the way, back to the meanwhile, back at the ranch is I don't know if you got the message or not, but that was from the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh.
Meanwhile,
yeah, JP was looking for the sample.
Yeah.
You found it.
But JP's a sample king.
Awesome.
It's on a button.
Awesome.
It's on a button, like Batman and everything else.
Yeah, I've now got.
Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor.
Yeah, and then I've.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
And, I think, where was it? Sean's favorite one.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Doom.
Not the Hall of Doom. Anyway. Enough playing around.
That was Melinda's favorite. Oh, that's cool.
So where should we go? I'd like to let everyone hear some of your music. And which one would you like us to play first of the samples that you gave us?
I said ad-libby, but
Ad-lib. Well, JP had mentioned ad-libby. I don't know if he played it on the last one because we usually don't listen live. And by the way, real quick, to all you YouTubers that are listening to the show on YouTube, check out the live version. This is the first time we actually logged into the Wolf Spirit Radio and listened to the live thing, and it's a totally different experience. I can't believe I haven't actually done that. So it's for what it's worth, if you just do the YouTubes and catch the shows, it's different live. I think there's something about the connecting consciousness part of it where where you're listening live, you're part of the show somehow more. And anyway, I just wanted to put
in the
that.
chat.
Yeah, you're right. And there is a blend of these three groups. I mean, there's the Alex Collier fans, and they've been going on for years. The Simon Parks fans, connecting consciousness, and the Andronicus fans. It's almost the same group. If you see what I mean, it's like bringing the same group together, and so it's really lovely.
You can feel it.
And it does feel, you can feel it. And if you come to wolfspiritradio.com/listen, there's a chat room and there's fantastic people in there, including, what was his name? The Friar and, various characters. Catriton turns, is it Catriton?
Yeah.
They just turn up.
Ketron. Catriton is
Ketron.
Poseidon and the Ketron is Viking.
Yeah.
And we have Nick, you're referring to, and we have, Ches, and, Ches also helps, Simon Parks as well as she does help me, and she's, amazing, and, of course we have, Paul, who I think he listens to everyone. I mean, there's a bunch of, Magists, all of them. All of them, they're listening, they're supporting, and, part of the big family.
And also, I just want to say, a great thank you for, True Magic and to Vanessa for being, the gentle shepherds that they are, that they, actually, I mean, the Andronicus people are pretty, we've never had a big drama in the chat room. Not like other shows. Certain other shows get lots of drama in the chat room, but we always have a very harmonious time there. And it's very friendly and it's a big family. And if you've felt related to anything that you're hearing in the Andronicus transmissions, come along because you might meet some old friends.
Yeah. We're game. I'm going to be doing the live thing more often now because it's totally different. And really, I saw some of the chat stuff go by and I'm like, wow, this is cool. But the actual connectivity of it is totally different experience. Even, not even counting the chat, just being, knowing that it's live and knowing that you have some kind of connection with these people and similar.
Give you the phone number.
Yeah, we were able to actually get a hold of you guys because of the chat room thing.
It's true.
That's perfect. Well, why don't we listen to Ad-libia right now? See, before we do that, what was the inspiration for Ad-libia? Or was it just a creative moment?
That's important. Thank you. That is important. That was right when the invasion of Libya was going on, and I felt absolutely horrible about what was going on because I knew Libya was a great country. And
but I was going through a bad marriage, and he rescued me from it, and that was going to end.
That was also about the same time. I wrote it on a computer at my work, of all things. At the time, I was taking care of an autistic person, and it came out in about 2 hours or whatever, start to finish. And it just started with the basic guitar loop idea, and then I started adding to it. And then about halfway through, you hear the guitar solo come in, and that's kind of like the invasion of Libya part, where I felt really bad about it.
Yeah, and he felt really bad about breaking up my marriage and my family. He felt so guilty, but he didn't know what he was doing when he sent me Peter Gabriel's Mirror Ball. he didn't know what he was doing, but I did.
Quickie story, Melinda and I met when she was 15. We got together when she was 17, then we lost touch for 20 years. And I found her on Facebook and was like, hey, what are you doing? And she was married at that time, but she was really unhappily married. And she's like, it took us about 3 or 4 months of, just talking on the phone and emails and stuff. And I said, well, go to counseling first. And so she did, and that didn't work out. So she came out to California and moved in with me, and we've been together ever since. Anyway.
Beautiful.
Well, there's a familiar sounding story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway. Things happen like that. That's, we have stuff. Fabulous story. Fabulous story. So, now I noticed you're using a Digitech.
What's that?
A Digitech?
Yes, I love Digitech.
Really?
Yeah, I love them.
Funny, because I've never really gotten on with them. The buttons are a bit funny. But go on.
The buttons are a bit funny, yes.
Are you kidding? We're just laughing over here.
Buttons are a bit funny. Funny buttons. Anyway, this is Ad Libya. So I'm going to mute you, so you won't be able to, actually I'm going to mute you this end, so you can talk with Jessica, but we can't hear you, okay?
Okay.
Alright. There we go. Hold your breath.
And listening to the music of Brian and Melinda Sundholm.
Okay, as I have it all under control now. There's like about 9 buttons I have to press to get all this back. I have to switch it all off and then switch it all back on again. I have to do it all in the right order. So, anyway, welcome back. There you go, Jess.
We are back.
Have your show back.
Yeah. Well, it's our show, essentially. So, Brian, Melinda, what do you want to talk about next? What's another song that you had suggested, and it seems like there are stories related to all of them?
Shoot, I don't even know what I said. Bucky Balls. Melinda says Bucky Balls.
Bucky Balls.
I call it fame and superstition, and he's reading about Bucky Balls, and he's got me terrified of soccer balls now.
This is all related to the Shungite, right? The Shungite stuff, or?
Well, we were reading about Bucky Balls, basically the containers for transporting stuff across, galaxy and whatnot. And
carbon,
yeah,
carbon nanotube containers of.
It's basically structural. That it's one of the tightest, strongest structures that would be able, like a ball that would be able to transport, space dust, if you will.
Yeah, it's the atomic structure of shungite.
Mm-hmm.
That's what shungite is. It's buckyballs.
Exactly.
It's like cod roe, caviar.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how I was posting stuff and I didn't have names for things. We were studying that, so that's how it got named.
Yeah, I guess you like balls. I mean, eyeball, monkey ball.
Yeah, I never really made that. Yeah.
No balls deep.
Maybe you're not a flat earther then.
Yeah. I ain't no square, man.
Be there. All right. So here's Bucky Balls. There you go.
Here we
Bucky
are.
Balls.
That was great. I never heard that one. That's a new one to me.
They're very repetitive on some of them because I was making them as like a sound bed for, people to be able to use. So it's like, what I thought when I posted some of that stuff, I wasn't thinking like have some kind of a build up or anything like that. It was more like meant to be just something for a background.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're insane. There's no background room for it. It's fine the way it is.
Okay. All those noises are all guitar. All the weird seagull noises and the background synth sounds and stuff, that's all just like volume pedal guitar effect stuff.
I noticed you noticed what I was doing on one of the tracks that I published.
Yes.
He said, I like the seagull sounds on, at a certain time in the video. Yeah. So
you're using like a 9-volt battery or a piece of metal on the strings up higher, like by the pickups and stuff, or you're like sliding down around.
Yeah, I was just using a regular guitar slide.
Cool.
Stainless steel chrome one. It's rather battered, so it's got a slightly rougher surface, so you can kind of scrape it and make the sound of it.
Scrape it, yeah. I used to put little notches in the pick so I could like little file marks or whatever. So if you slide across the string, you get kind of a scratchy sound.
That's the famous punk one.
What?
The famous punk sound where you scratch your pick all the way down the string. Yeah. Lots of punk songs start like that. That's how you get that. It's great. Yeah. And it also puts a little groove in the edge of the pick.
No, Melinda's total punk background. That's her thing. Yeah.
I don't know. That just got set on fire.
Yeah. All the records and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's all inside you now. You contain it like an MP3 player.
Yeah.
You still have the guitar that survived that fire. Maybe it's full of punk music.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. If it's got a crispy edge, that's all the better.
I got a crispy edge guitar.
There you go. There you go. Not even one of the Hendrix's guitars that was set on fire. You actually set it on fire yourself.
So we had to burn the whole house down to get the guitar.
It's your key to your next fortune.
Oh gosh, you're wild.
All right.
So
where are we going next?
Yeah.
What else you got here for us?
Oh my gosh!
I don't think I probably should have. I did a lot of acoustic guitar work for a while and was posting like layered acoustic stuff, but I think I was kind of in a hurry to get the email out because I was worried about time.
I know. I used to make fun of him because he made acoustic music.
Yeah, she, punk rocker. She's like, "Oh my God, that's boring." I'm like, "Oh no, it's not."
I'm not a punk rocker. I have a violin that I can't.
She plays violin. She studies it.
I used to have a violin. The TSA took care of that.
Yeah. By the way, the violins, my great grandfather's violin survived the fire, and we'll get that back later today. So, I'm looking forward to recording more violin and.
Yes, we have proof. Fire is an element. It saves the violin.
Yeah, it burned everything.
It's amazing.
I saw it.
Wow.
I saw it on your Facebook thing, like the whole house had burned down and there was this case smoking on the outside, but perfectly preserved.
The fire decided, well, we're going to go ahead and skip those two because those are important, and
the turtle,
turtle survived. Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, that's good.
Let's see, what else is there?
What's this Lulu Bayou? What's Lulu Bayou?
Oh, that one's kind of neat. It's similar to the buckyballs that we just played. It's about the same time. It's kind of another sound bed type thing. And then there's the one by John G. I did was Hope He Chilled Out and has some weird vocals.
Oh yeah.
And that was for my father-in-law, who's at the time he was going through heart troubles, and he's like full-blood Hopi Indian, and so I guess that's why I named it that. But I put like some Indian chant stuff in it, and it's acoustic guitar. That might be a good one for
change the pace.
Yeah, we should play that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's play the Hopi Chill
Here we go.
with John G.
Okay, we're back. He's
right.
slurping in. Oh, hang on. No. Stop. There
Kind of a sad one.
Oh, no, that was really cool. Very chilled out. Actually, it sounds a bit like that sort of tantric music that people play when they're doing massages and things. That's not too... It's very... I found it very sensual music. So, what do you think, Jess?
Yeah, I love it. It just, brings you into a different type of mood, but there's nothing boring about it. It helps you to unwind, whereas the other ones maybe, are more, to get you going, sort of. Music serves different purposes. And, you can't always be in that upbeat kind of energy. Sometimes there's a point where you want to just relax or as they say, chillax, right? You just gotta sit back and listen to the music and kind of settle in and allow your mind to just kind of unwind or review things that happen throughout the day. Or for me, my whether you call it daydreaming or visioning, stuff like that can actually induce that kind of energy. So, no, it's wonderful.
That's neat. When you guys first, or Jessica, when you first said, hey, I'm kind of interested in having you on the show or whatever, it caught me a little off guard, and I was like, wow. So I thought, well, I'm going to go listen to the Reverb Nation page or, the list of tunes on there to kind of think about what ones would be good. I was sitting here in the motel, and in Vegas it doesn't rain that much, but it was kind of weird because I watched these big rolling clouds come in and it started raining, and I'm watching the planes come and go. And, this doesn't happen to me too often, but I just started crying as I was listening to the music and thinking about, what it could be and that it gets shared out there. And, it was kind of a moment, it's like you, somehow you can move from one space to a whole nother space by, I guess through emotion, and somehow the sound translates that. I've been trying to understand that more and more as I get older, how it is that music is able to transfer one person's thought and emotions, and then it captures it in a recording or whatever, and then it can go to other people, and they can feel that same kind of thought and emotion.
Boring. That's why music isn't boring. That's why.
Yeah.
It's kind of the thing, because the whole incident that I had with Rhodan earlier in the show, or the past couple of weeks actually, that happened, and it was all triggered by music video. And when I was watching the music video, and it was the landscape, which in a location that I've not been in this lifetime, it was a place that I needed to see and observe in order to make that connection, and then the music and the tone of the music actually amplified and enhanced whatever I was experiencing, and it became transcendent. And so transcendence doesn't mean you just go to see a guru somewhere and you're in an ashram. This can happen anywhere. And, I've had people critique the whole issue about music and that it's AI and that it's controlling and this and that. We've had some conversations about that during the show, because everything's related with our ascension, and there's all different aspects of it. So I try to take in this whole concept of music as you're right. They're creating these echoes and opening up of frequencies for people to actually remember, recall, to have some kind of experience, and even transfer their expressions and thoughts. What was their intent when they were producing? So it's something that we can embrace. I just can't be in a phase of being wary of every song that I hear that it's going to integrate with AI. I can shield myself from AI, or at least identify if there seems to be some kind of odd mind control kind of layout in whatever they're doing regarding the sounds and the music. But for the most part, that's not the intention. It's the artist expressing, and whatever they're expressing, either you resonate with it or you don't. But it's something that you find and gravitate toward what you're feeling. And so your music, I think exemplifies a lot of how my thinking is, and, it kind of goes along the flow with this kind of experience of being, whether it's meditative or, even with your more upbeat music, I was able to get into an altered state slightly with it. And I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's really great.
It is.
Great stuff.
Yeah, look forward to more. I'm really interested in getting back into, recording again and doing it from, a whole new perspective, because I've, changed as a person quite a bit since then. But most of that stuff's from 4 or 5 years ago. And, William would say something.
Good. Here you all, you AI fans and likewise, listen. Your heartbeat is unique. It is your, generator, and it's unique. And music doesn't mean anything unless it has a beat. And that's a beat that no AI can duplicate. And as long as you are in your groove and you make that sound, there's no comparison, because your emotion in that heartbeat is going to translate perfectly every time. No AI can get that. So you're safe as long as you're communicating from your inner beat. That's all I had to say.
Melinda, that's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
She's special.
Yeah. You guys, you both are great. Yeah, I'm so glad that you came on the show. We're winding down, and I want to stay on track for JP because he does have another show coming up. But maybe we should put in Lulu Bayou and inspired by.
No, absolutely not.
What?
She said Lulu Bayou, and I was like, no way, dude.
That was okay.
No, I think that sucks.
Oh.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm not here.
Well, it's a song. Is it just got no drums on it or something? It's got no electric guitar.
He was playing with, was it Pulse Stretch, that software program called Pulse Stretch?
That's not it. That's a different one.
If it's Lulu Bayou, I put it on my phone. I was like, I'm taking that off immediately.
That's a different song.
Oh my gosh, Brian, that's not a song.
It's little miscommunication, sorry.
Yeah, that's off.
The one she's thinking of is entirely different. She's thinking of Pulse Stretch is a program that they use to add binaural beat, and I was playing around with that just to see what it would do. And she's confusing that one with the one that I did, the weird binaural beat stuff, which is not music. It came out something very strange. The last time I played with that program, by the way.
Well, look, we're gonna have to play the show out with Lulu. Okay. Oh, it's only a wee one. It's only 1 minute long, so that's a perfect outro for the show. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show, guys. We love you, and
thank you,
keep in touch.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.